You ever had one of those mornings where you realize, in an instant, just how fast your life can get flipped inside out? I mean, the kind of moment that tears the sleep right out of your bones. Cold slap, world tilting, no warning at all. That was me. 5:47 in the morning, sky still bruised that deep purple just before dawn breaks. And the next thing I know, the silence of our neat little suburb is ripped open by the throat-rattling roar of a diesel engine, big and mean, making the windows shake. My heart's pounding, legs moving before my brain catches up. I tumble out the front door in nothing but a pair of boxers, barefoot, toes biting into the gravel of my own driveway, cold enough to make you see your breath. And then it hits me full force. Rolling away at the end of the street, hooked behind a tow truck like some abandoned clunker, is my boat. Not just any boat. My 29-foot Boston Whaler. The Horizon. The one I worked double shifts, missed every barbecue, and lived on overtime pay for 3 solid years just to buy. It's already turning the corner. In less than a minute, everything I'd built was gone, taillights fading in the morning mist. And standing there, arms folded tight, outfit slicker than a magazine cover, is Patricia Sterling, president of the Oakhaven Reserve Property Owners Association. Imagine someone who could ice a martini just by glaring at it. Yoga gear worth more than my first car, hairstyled like she was expecting a breeze from Paris, not a mechanic like me. And she's got this smile. More like a smirk, cold, sharp, like she just hit the jackpot at someone else's expense. Your vessel exceeds the aesthetic dimensions of the neighborhood. Caleb, she says, sweet as syrup with a twist of venom. We're just enforcing the community standards. My hands shake, part cold, part white-hot rage, because this isn't just about a boat. This is about everything. Pride, sacrifice, the years spent crawling under engines and coming home smelling like WD-40 and bad coffee. I was ready to shout, to fight, maybe to lose it all right there, but then like a light switch, I remember something Patricia doesn't know. Nobody knows, actually. See, the one thing she and her little club of mini tyrants never figured out, I own the lake. Every square inch, every silter ripple. Lake Serenity is mine, signed and sealed in paperwork older than most of the houses on the block. But let's pump the brakes a second. Before this whole showdown, you gotta understand how a diesel-stained nobody like me wound up in a knife fight with the queen of the suburbs. My name's Caleb Thorne. I'm 52, and before Oakhaven, I spent 2 decades living above my garage, wrenching on engines till my knuckles turned black. My uncle Silas was the family ghost, the old-timer who wouldn't sell his slice of heaven no matter how many developers begged. Hermit, some called him. To me, he was free. The day his lawyer called, saying Silas left me the property, I laughed. Had to be a prank. But me and my wife Elena drove out anyway, storm clouds chasing us the whole way. 3 acres on the cleanest lake you ever saw, a dock running straight into water, so clear you'd swear it was glass. And a house, quiet, pine-scented, and still holding Silas's ghost in the corners. Waking up that first morning, breathing air that didn't taste like exhaust, I felt like I'd broken into a party for millionaires. Oakhaven was 15 mansions, each bigger and shinier than the last, run by folks who discussed stock options over espresso and thought mud was just a rumor. And then there was me, old tattoos, scuffed boots, driving a truck that coughed on cold mornings. That's when I met Patricia. For 3 years, she ran Oakhaven like her own little empire. Rules bent for her circle, a smile that cut like broken glass, and a real estate broker's brain that never forgot a price tag. Her husband, Grant, ran the biggest boat dealership in 3 states. Their house was basically a palace with a yacht parked out front. 35 feet of floating hypocrisy, since the rule she used against me capped boats at 25. My boat, the Horizon, was 29 feet. Her community standard was more like Patricia's preference. First HOA meeting, I pointed out the obvious, and she just waved me off. Community dock has different regulations. Caleb, ours is a security vessel. Yeah, right? Because nothing screams neighborhood safety like patrolling a gated lake for imaginary pirates in a floating penthouse. 3 days after my boat vanished, a fat envelope showed up, $1, $250 bill for unauthorized vessel retrieval. Storage fees piling up at, you guessed it, Sterling Marine. Proof of compliance modifications required before I could even see my own boat again. Try cutting 3 feet off a fiberglass hull. Go ahead, I'll wait. It was a ransom, plain and simple. Next thing I know, certified mail from Blackwood and Associates, the POA's favorite law dogs, threatening to put a lien on my house over 4 lousy feet of boat. So I did what any desperate mechanic would. I dug. Musty records, county courthouse, channeling old Silas. Turns out the boat rule, total scam. Amendment passed while most folks were wintering out of state. Not even enough votes to make it legal. But Patricia had already ramped things up, a blizzard of fines for everything. The trailer's the wrong color, boat letters too big, blue tarp too aggressive. $2,000 in tickets in a week. File a complaint? She hits me with a harassment charge for reporting her yacht. Wasn't just me either. One night, Mrs. Gable, lived here 15 years, shows up at my door, scared out of her mind. She got me too, Caleb. Patio furniture's non-conforming now. Patricia was picking us off one by one, breaking anybody who didn't fit her perfect mold. Next came the knockout. A $4,000 property lien, compounding daily, and my guest parking revoked, so I couldn't even see clients. It was all about control. Star me out, drive me away. That's when I called Samantha Cross. Attorney, sharp as a tack, smile like a wolf. She looked at my dossier, measuring tape, photos, spreadsheets tracking every violation, every act of favoritism, and grinned. This whole thing's a house of cards, Caleb. No notice, no quorum, no standing. For a heartbeat, I felt hope. But Patricia? She started fighting dirty, slashed tires, anonymous complaints to the county, fire department, environmental code, every agency you could imagine. My life turned into a circus of inspections, each one coming up clean, but the message was clear. Challenge Patricia, pay the price. But if she wanted war, she got it. Me and my neighbors, Dr. Thorne, no relation, just a good guy, Tom Miller, Mrs. Gable, even Widow Jenkins. We started meeting in my workshop, planning, sharing stories, drinking cheap beer surrounded by the smell of motor oil and sawdust. We were done playing defense. Then Samantha calls, voice shaking with excitement. Caleb, get to the courthouse. I found something in your uncle's records. Water rights, predating everything. The document was old, yellowed, edges chewed up by time, 1956. Silas didn't just buy land. He bought the water, the whole lake, mineral rights, everything. And then a trust from 1987. Silas again, playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers. The POA? They only had a revocable license, one that could be yanked if they broke the rules, especially harassment and discrimination. On top of that, Sterling Marine owed the trust a fortune in unpaid fees for using the lake commercially. Samantha wanted surgical precision, not an explosion. Let her overplay her hand, she said. So we waited. And boy, did Patricia go wild. More fines and new ban on mechanical work, targeting my side hustle. Even got the cops involved, accusing me of threats I never made. Lucky for me, Dr. Thorne had my back, witnessed my calm at every meeting, and the police started connecting dots, a pattern of harassment, vandalism, slashed tires, all roads leading to Patricia. Desperate, she filed for foreclosure, $6,800 in made-up fines. Elena, my wife, sat at the kitchen table, eyes red from tears, ready to give up. But I couldn't. Not after everything Uncle Silas taught me. No way I was letting a bully win. Then came the twist. Patricia finally got her hands dirty. I found my shop destroyed. $15,000 in tools trashed, engine blocks tipped. Leave or else spray painted in jagged red across the wall. But this time I was ready. Hidden backup cameras caught everything. Grant Sterling, his thugs, and Patricia herself. Right there in the passenger seat, giving orders. Ironclad evidence. We brought it straight to Officer Reynolds. His jaw hit the floor. This is breaking and entering, grand vandalism, conspiracy, no more civil dispute. Now it was criminal. Patricia, oblivious, doubled down with restraining orders, false police reports, even went on the local news claiming I was a threat. She spun her web, but the threads were snapping. The day of the hearing, the courtroom buzzed with cameras, neighbors, and the smell of cheap perfume. Patricia lied under oath. Samantha, cool as ice, proved I wasn't even in the neighborhood when she said I threatened her. Then played the video of her orchestrating the break-in for everyone, including the judge, to see. Patricia's face went from smug to ghost white in seconds. Judge Sterling, no relation, dropped the hammer. Restraining order denied. Perjury charges handed over to the DA. But the main event was still coming. The emergency POA meeting, Patricia's last stand. The clubhouse was packed. Neighbors, cops, even Channel 8's reporter with cameras rolling. Patricia tried to gavel her way to order, but I stood up, heart pounding but steady. Samantha opened her briefcase, smack, echoing through the room, and laid out the deed and trust docs. Caleb Thorne is the sole trustee of Lake Serenity. He owns the lake, the docks, the shore. The place erupted. Patricia screamed fraud, but it was over, documented, verified, binding. Samantha cited the license, violated through harassment, discrimination, and criminal activity. As of that moment, Sterling Marine's access was revoked, $89,000 owed, and the entire board dissolved for gross misconduct. And just when you thought karma was running late, 2 federal agents stepped forward. Patricia Sterling, you are under arrest, charges read out for wire fraud, perjury, civil rights violations. Handcuffs snapped, neighbors cheered, not for revenge, but for relief. The tyrant's reign was done. In the aftermath, we built something better. Patricia got 4 years in federal prison. Grant's business tanked, assets sold off. That $500,000 in trust funds? We use it to restore the lake, clear the weeds, restock fish, build an accessible pier. We got rid of the old POA and replaced it with a rotating council. Every vote mattered. That first summer festival, kids laughed in the water, no one worried about a fine. Little Emma Jenkins tugged my sleeve, asking, "Mr. Caleb, did you fight a monster?" I knelt down, heart full, and told her, something like that, "Sweetheart, sometimes you just have to remind a bully that sharing beats stealing." Looking out across Lake Serenity, sun dropping below the treeline, I realized Uncle Silas didn't just leave me a lake. He left me a lesson. Ownership's not about holding tight and shutting people out. It's about taking care of something bigger than yourself, turning a prison into a community. And here's what I'm still chewing on. When I had all the power, I could have locked the gates, made the lake mine alone. I chose to share it. But if you'd been in my shoes after everything I went through, would you have done the same? Or would you have kept it all for yourself, just once to feel the wind? Let me know what you do. Because in the end, maybe justice isn't just about payback. Maybe it's about flipping the whole game on its head. Drop your story or your answer down below. I want to hear it.